All right. Welcome to another live feed reads. No, the intro's not quite that long. I made a mistake while I was taking us live. It seemed a little longer. No, but welcome to another live feed reads. This is the podcast of the Reed and Reed law firm in Tampa.
Highest watched, most subscribed to podcast.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's it. That's right. It's great. The best lawyer podcast in Tampa.
Most consistent.
Yeah, that's true too. And just lots to go around. We always have Paul on, and he's always talking about some case. Last week was super fantastic. If you did not get a chance to listen to that one, that is episode 25. You can find it on Spotify, Rumble, YouTube, or Facebook. We go live here on Facebook because we take questions. So if you're watching and you want to be involved in one of these, you can actually join and ask questions live. Pick the brains of the greats, so to speak. And if not, you can just always catch the repeats on any of those other channels that we mentioned. But episode 25 was great. Paul had really kind of spoke to a situation where this older lady was in need of help, and she got the help that she needed. And it was pretty epic. It gave me chill bumps. So if you didn't watch it, go watch it. That's episode 25.
Yeah, it's an ongoing tale. I'm sure it'll give updates as it progresses and as things flesh out. But yeah, it's a hell of a guy.
Yeah, it would be great. Yeah, you're not far from the old block either, man. It's you guys are both a wonderful tag team.
Oh, stop.
What do you got going on?
Nothing much. I was thinking about, what organic topic would come to mind, and actually kind of networking did. People that I meet, our clients specifically, or people that simply call us and talk to us on the phone, or they've only seen the commercials. They don't really have a chance to delve deep with us and realize, kind of how big and deep our network goes. When it comes to like being on the boards of directors of local charities and the networking organization like BNI and RGA and all these things that we're a part of. And I was thinking to myself, we're hosting a little event tonight for one of my networking groups. And, I'm texting people, reminding them like, holy crap, I just texted, 30 people. And this is just one little group. Then you got, family and friends and distant relatives and clients. Like, I probably deal with 200 to 400 people a day via every avenue you could imagine. And sometimes, you take it for granted that some people might not see a single human being in the day, right? Some people deal with 5 people in the day. It's like, my gosh, sometimes it can be daunting.
I think
to try to keep it all organized.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's also interesting to realize I'm listening to you say that, and as I do, I'm aware that you guys are also not afraid of the courtroom. So y'all are very much networking, and it's not just you that a person gets when they work with you, but you balance all of that with when you go to the courtrooms, you're kind of locked out of other kind of communication channels, and then you have to get back in and pick up where you left off. You guys struggle a lot.
Yeah. Well, the hardest thing, and I know it's kind of, you're always going to have haters, but when you go on vacation, and you're gone I can no longer take time off and unplug.
Yeah.
Like, I have to, at the very minimum, keep up with emails in the sense of just deleting spam or deleting things that, don't apply to me specifically. For instance, the law firm's email, certain things that aren't my cases, deleting that, or, forwarding important things to my paralegal Melody to address. But it's like, if I didn't do that, I would come back after a week to 1,500 emails. And like, how long? And then, when you come back, you're full force. You got to do you're doing calls and returning calls and doing new cases and old cases. And then you're adding, 300 messages and 1,500 emails to the already convoluted pile. And so it's like, I got the very least got to delete emails and address important ones. So it's, you never, as a business owner, you truly never can unplug. It's just not possible. Maybe for a weekend, you throw the phone on do not disturb for a weekend. Okay. But, not during the week. It's just not possible.
I don't even know that I get time on the weekends, and I can't remember the last time I took a vacation. As you're talking, we at the Home Education Foundation, I created a Discord server because I was getting emails, with cases and things like that coming to me from parents from all across the state. And I spend 15 to 30 minutes drafting an email that, considers all of their, viewpoints and issues, and asking questions. Did you do this? And how much information do you have on that? And when I get down to it, man, I do 100 emails. That's a week's worth of work. And I was like, if I could field some of these and give one response that 10 people or 100 people could benefit from in that county, that'll really help expedite my work. And we've been.
Yeah, I'm a boomer millennial, Jason. What the hell's a Discord server?
It's born out of the old video game days where you wanted to kind of chat together while you're playing a video game, but that game didn't have any kind of support like that. So you can have message boards, chat channels, or voice comms, and set up like conference rooms and stuff in it. So that's what I put one together. Now we've got about 400 families all across Florida in there, and it's been growing over the last several months. But it just searching for ways to be efficient in communication has helped me immensely. That's not something you guys can do because y'all are dealing with individuals constantly, and I am dealing.
It's funny you say that because like the answers we could generally boilerplate them because we've heard it all, seen it all, done it all, but it's like every case
Slightly
is
different.
so unique with the little things that it's just not possible to have. Oh, here's a question, here's the answer. It's like, no, you got to tailor every single one, even though the substance or the general answer is going to be relatively the same. The meat is going to be the same, but it's got to be tailored each time. It's frustrating because I got a guy who's big into AI and he wants to help set us up with that. I'm just like, I don't think it's possible just because each case there's so much information and you got to get into the minutia in order to delve into it. And it's just like, I like the idea, but don't think it's possible, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a challenge for sure. Like AI is useful to a large degree, but especially with what you guys do, one wrong word, I was actually just reviewing the Supreme Court's rules for statutory interpretation because of a case I'm working on right now. But one of the key things that they say is that there are no filler words. Like there is no word wasted when it comes to statutes. Like every single word carries weight and matters. And when you realize that, and then you as a lawyer are working and doing what you do, your words have to kind of mirror and match the same way because that's the field in which you're working. And that's not something that people in general are used to. And I think that's something that maybe the common day vernacular we're able to do feel like, you know what I mean, and you know what I mean, and like you get what I'm saying, right? And we'll replace words and sentences or paragraphs with, oh man, did you see that guy? Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw that. Oh yeah. Whoa. And we know what each other mean, but not from an accurate legal standpoint, from a like
definitely
talking over a beer standpoint. And it's so wildly different once you start to step into anything that touches the legal realm. And I think that's something that a lot of people take for granted, especially I think our young people. And I'm just concerned the more we lean on AI to do all that filler stuff, we're going to end up in this place where the words matter. The words matter a lot.
And if you don't understand the words, you don't know what is happening around you.
Nothing. Yeah. I saw, it's funny. Maybe this is worth talking about, but I saw this post the other day about, was it dihydrogen monoxide? And they were like, dihydrogen monoxide, everyone who's ever drank it.
It's an evil. It's a plague on the planet.
Anyone who's ever drank it has died. It's in acid rain. It'll wear away your car. Like, can you believe people ingest this stuff? And like, you can just see the way in which you could run headlines. Like, they use it in nuclear power plants. Why would anybody ingest that? That's horrible. You get addicted to it and can't get off of it.
I've seen that one.
And then you realize it's H2O, and they're like, oh.
Yeah. Good old water. Yep. It's funny. And people, it's so like that's the funny part of the internet when you see, a clearly satirical post, or maybe not even so maybe it's not clear until you even delve into the comments and you realize, oh, this guy's a stick. But like the comments just go off lambasting this person for expressing this view that was satire.
Right.
And it's just people take everything so
Yeah.
literally, which is, I guess, kind of the fun part of the law is that it really, if you have a mastery of the English language and
Mhm.
you can really manipulate the words and the definitions to suit your ends to a certain extent. Now, that's the problem with ambiguous words that are purposefully
Easy
thrown into
manip-
statutes and legislation so that it can be manipulated in the
Mhm.
future. And if it's an ironclad statute, it can still be manipulated. At least the argument will always
Yeah.
there's always going to be an argument that can be made that this means something opposite, whether it's rational or a reasonable person would agree. Probably not in certain
Mhm.
instances, but yeah, that's all it is manipulating language.
In the field that I work in, I run into a lot of situations where things are done a certain way because of policy. And then when a certain parent doesn't want to do it that way, and they have the right to do it a different way, they get met with complete obstacles and obfuscation and abuse of power in a lot of ways because they'll just get told no, they can't when they can, but they don't know how to find that in statute or where it is. And my question is, because of that, a lot of parents just simply give up and don't access any of what they have a right to because they take that answer. My question is for what you guys do with the insurance companies and with cases. Do y'all run into situations like that where um, the client or something has a right to a particular outcome or a process, but because it's just not done normally that way, or the insurance companies are just used to doing it this way, they kind of bulldoze the customers in ways. Do y'all run into that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a harder time, insurance companies, that is, doing that to lawyers who
Mm-hmm.
practice this field of law. But again, I mean, just because you're a lawyer, if you don't know the area of law in which you're
Yeah.
practicing, other attorneys, other agents in that system will have an easy time bulldozing you because, yeah, it's all about finding the language in an insurance policy, for instance.
Right.
And there's several times that we've combed through a policy uh, because an insurance company was taking a position. Nothing specific comes to mind at the
Okay.
moment, but they take position X. We're not paying Y, okay,
Right.
and because of Z. And then we spend hours combing through the policy to because if they say no, right,
Mm-hmm.
you can either, oh shucks, and walk away,
Mm-hmm.
or you can try to figure out, well, we know that you have to do this, but me just saying no, you're wrong, this is how
Right.
it's in your
It's not
like
enough.
you can't just say it's in your contract. You have to go proactively find the provision, lay it out an argument, and then, oh yeah, you're right. And so, I mean, that's across the board,
It is.
when it comes to industries just telling people, no, we're not liable for this, or no, we're not paying that, or no, we're not going to follow through with this promise. And then you have to take the time out of your day to articulate and prove through contract, statute, what have you, that they're wrong, you're right, and they can still say
Mhm.
no, and then that's where the lawsuit comes
Mhm.
into play, right?
Yeah.
And a judge tells
Yeah.
them they have to. But again, typically speaking, if you find the law, the rule, the legislation, the provision in a contract, you lay it out articulately, most people are going to then do not the right thing, but do what they are obligated to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Right?
you kind of have to find that language that obligates them, and that
Mhm.
that becomes your leverage or your leverage point at least. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
interesting because that's what I end up doing a lot of is the research for all of that and compiling those. In the event that we need an attorney to then kind of come on and do that, I got all the homework done, so to speak. And sometimes the entities that we're working with go, okay, enough is enough. We'll just do it. And I'm like, thank
Yeah.
you. But it's never lost on me, like what you said a minute ago, that comes down to something that differentiates attorneys is their knowledge in their area of, I can't call it expertise, but their field, their focus area. Let's call it their focus
Mhm.
area. Because the more that you deal with problems and you've come to see them like a good mechanic, right? You see that same problem over and over. You're like, I know what this is. I know where that language is going. You're almost 3 to 5 steps ahead because I've seen that before. I know the retort. You can even find the language that you need to head it off before that question.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the experience in any
Mm-hmm.
avenue of life, right?
Yeah.
jujitsu, right?
Yeah.
Black belts are gonna
Yeah.
be 10 steps ahead of your average white belt or blue belt,
I
right?
think
So
that's lost
that's how
on
it
a
goes.
lot of people, though. I think there's a lot of people who take a lot of that for granted, but it's a very important aspect of.
I think reasonable people understand that. That's why it's, you start seeing the meme where it's, yeah, I'm charging you, $300 for my 30 minutes it takes me to replace your toilet. But, that's because of the 30 years
Mhm.
I put into learning how
In
to
30
do it in
minutes,
30
right?
minutes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you can
Yeah.
watch YouTube and spend your entire weekend doing
Yeah.
this. Sure.
Yeah. I was
But I'm charging you what I'm charging. So same
sure.
thing. It's like nothing bothers a professional in any trade more than trying like clients that want to know each and every step how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
What'd you hire me
Yeah.
for?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I hire my financial advisor, I give him money and trust that he knows what he's
Yeah.
doing. I hire my accountant. I don't go to my accountant and say, hey, so why'd you do this? Hey, like, walk me through that. It's
Right.
like, well, no,
Right.
that's your
Right.
job. This is my
You guys
job.
might get that a little more than other people, maybe, because I think everybody thinks they have a good command of language, but there's a point at which a lot of people are willing to go, I don't know anything about cars. And they might be
Mhm.
willing to just take your word for it, but everybody thinks they know how to
Yeah.
argue and they know they know
Yeah.
words.
Well, I'm sure doctors probably got it the worst with the advent of the internet.
Yeah, yeah. There was something that you said a minute ago that made me think of. Oh, so Reed and Reed, you guys do personal injury attorney law, and you,
Mm.
medical malpractice, wrongful death, injuries, crashes, things like that, slip and falls, that kind of whole arena. Have you been paying attention to, or have you noticed the emergence of some of the wrongful death cases that there was an article that I saw where Chat GPT was being used by this teen, and the teen, I have to be very careful how I say what happened, but the teen had an early end to his life, and the parents are suing Chat GPT
Oh yes, I did see
for
that article.
wrongful
Okay, I know what
death.
you're talking
Yeah, what are your what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, this is not a legal opinion or anything like
about.
that.
That is, yeah, that's not. It's
It's a new
novel.
area.
It's going to be very difficult to prove that. I think. I don't have any thoughts on it per
Okay.
se. I read the same article you did. I think, well, there's some lawyer out there that's going to put in a lot of
Yeah,
time to
yeah,
see what
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
You know,
It's interesting to me because I
but
think I'm noticing a lot of.
it's a brave new world we live in, where AI is theoretically assisting or promulgating certain philosophies on others that lead to real world
Yeah.
results. So I'm talking about talk about like the doomsday scenario. If let's just assume that
Hmm.
that scenario is true for just as a thought
Okay.
experiment. Like, so basically, you have this AI program that killed someone, maybe.
That's the argument.
you know,
It could be the argument.
I mean, that's like the worst
Right.
case scenario of that
Right.
case. But if you zoom back, that's what they're
Right.
arguing.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
I
and
think
so
that you
that's
could
if there's merit to it, that's pretty
draw
scary.
a parallel perhaps to the McDonald's made me fat, right? Do
Oh yeah,
those hold up? You know, because at a certain point you have to go.
not in Ryan
Yeah.
Reed's
Yeah.
world.
Okay.
Whether
Yeah.
six jurors that had a valid driver's license that made it to a jury
Fair
panel
enough.
buy what that lawyer was selling, probably.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think
to me, no, but
that's a challenge.
a lot of crazy cases
There
out there.
is, and I think AI is really. We've talked about it from two different angles, I guess today. Maybe that was supposed to be the topic. It's really kind of
Mhm.
throwing a wrench in a lot of the works. I'm concerned that there's a lot of ways in which we, as members of society, parents, churches, friend groups, communities, etc., we abdicate a lot of our responsibility to just various entities. I don't need to go shopping anymore. Bring it to my door. My latte. I don't have to make my own coffee. Like part of this is just a commercialization of convenience,
Mhm.
but in some ways, slipped into that is the, the more convenient, and the more conveniences I search for, the further I get from taking personal responsibilities and things. And where's the
Yeah.
line between that should have been my fault versus now I'm blaming the person I entrusted to. Because I'll give you an example.
That's just a matter of philosophy, and there's going to be opposing sides.
It will be a matter of policy at some point, though.
No,
Yeah,
philosophy.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I'm
Oh,
saying
yeah.
at some point
Yeah.
it'll probably be a matter of policy, though. But I was building a shed in the backyard and I had to build a foundation. And a friend of mine offered to help. I didn't have the bandwidth or time, so I accepted his help. Um, I said I can't really plan through and think it, but I can do the grunt work. I know how to build things. Just
hmm
you help me with putting all the details together. So we did, and we built it to the exact specs of the 10 by 12 shed. And as it turns out, we needed it to be 11 by 13 because we needed the extra padding to be able to anchor to once it was done building. And I didn't think about this because I'm just doing the grunt work. And I got angry, and I was explaining that to my
hmm
kids because they're like, "Dad, you're angry." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm angry at myself." They're like, "You're not angry at him?" I'm like, "No, because I chose to trust him to do it. That's on me. If I didn't have
Yeah.
the time or want to, I should have paused the project, or I had all kinds of ways before I got there that I could have stopped that, and that's on me."
Yeah.
But there
Yeah.
is a point at which it's a matter of philosophy, but I think ultimately things like that end up becoming policy.
I find that the older I get and the more I feel like you and I are both the types of people that are trying to always better themselves and learn
Yeah,
and grow and work on themselves, knowing that we're flawed. And,
yeah,
um, the more, and I find myself catching my reaction, like when I get angry or something really makes me mad. And no, I'm not talking about doom scrolling and that kind of
mm-hmm,
anger. I mean, if something in my life makes me
mm-hmm,
angry, if I can just take that time to not react, and usually I'm going to think through it and come to the realization that, yeah, there's something that I did or didn't do. Maybe I didn't prepare well enough. Maybe I gave some bad information to this person that could have changed the
mm,
outcome, like in your example. And, I find that most of my anger is normally the cause is
me.
me, or what are my action, my
Yeah,
failing, my lack of X, Y, or
yeah,
Z. And so, whereas even a couple years ago, I wasn't even having those
yeah,
realizations.
yeah. No, it's wild. I think we're very close to, people even with things like texting and driving, where people have crashes and accidents, and we're very close to, well, why wasn't it like this, or why does it my car have a screen in it for me to even look at, and it's like,
Yeah, it's sad. I would say the majority of cases we get, someone the at fault party is not willing to take full
mm-hmm,
responsibility. There's always they never say, you know what, I messed
so
up. This is
rare.
100% my
Mm-hmm.
fault. There's 90% of the time, even if they say, yeah, I messed up, there's always, not always, there's 95% of the time, several excuses as to why this
Mm-hmm.
happened to try to discount their involvement or try to absolve them
Right.
somewhat, rather than saying, yeah, I wasn't paying attention, my fault. Or, yeah, you know what? These tires are 10 years old on my car. That's why when I hit the brakes and slammed on the brakes, not paying
Yeah.
attention, why my vehicle wasn't able to stop in time. It's like very rarely do you get someone to say, this is my fault.
Right.
And unfortunately, like if everyone did that, this industry would be
I mean,
incredibly
if
different.
people were personally accountable and reasonable, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Well, on that note, speaking of accountability, I do
Yep.
have a 1:30.
Yeah.
But it was
And
a
you're an
great talk.
attorney,
I always love
not a
talking to you,
podcaster,
brother.
so we. That's always,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, great. Thank you for filling in today, and covering the spot to keep us consistent. It's great.
Mhm.
Um, what do you got going on for the weekend? That last thing before we wrap up. Anything special?
Yeah, we on my BNI group. We're going to a karaoke
Nice.
bar, and so we're gonna see how each other's pipes operate
Very cool.
tonight. We got football back, so we're gonna see some friends hopefully tomorrow for some football.
Nice.
Same thing on Sunday, and maybe go to the beach
Cool.
if traffic isn't too bad and the weather holds up, and probably just lay at home, do nothing on
Very
Monday.
good. I got
Although with knowing my wife Jackie, yeah, that is probably a very slim possibility. We'll be doing
I got
something.
some of the old school video games, like old school original Mario's, and I've been turning my kids
Hmm.
loose on them, and and being like, it builds character. Don't you give up. You take Mario to the. You get that.
When you die, you start all the way over.
They get so angry, and
no checkpoints.
I enjoy it so much. I just grab popcorn and watch them struggle, and it's such entertainment.
Frustrating, I remember those days. Yep. All right, but that's a whole new conversation, so don't get me started.
Brother. Well, have a great weekend. I'm gonna take us out from here. Here we go.
Reed and Reed, it's like having a lawyer in the family.